February to July.
Chromium 2020. Reach out to be one of the 20 lucky winners.
Every month, 20 winners.
15 winners will get rice, sugar, and cooking oil.
Very well, Counsel. You may call the witness.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Honorable Commissioners, I recall Mr. Bala Gay. What is the address of the bank?
Good afternoon, sir. Please be reminded of your oath.
Mr. Gay, you're here today mainly for cross-examination, but before my learned friend asks you questions, I would like you to clarify a matter in relation to an exhibit, which is MS63. Don't worry about the number. Just for the record, it's a folder, MS63, tendered by Mr. Muhammad Bazi. Can you give this folder to the witness, please? I'm going to show you a document dated 5th September 2006, which I believe was signed by yourself. Can you confirm that it was? And I'll just ask you one or two questions.
Yes.
This is a letter for the extension of contract for 5 years, January 2007 to December 2011,
Yes.
for Euro-African Group Limited to exclusively import petroleum products into the Gambia. Now, I want to, for you to confirm, you know, the first sentence says the Gambia government is satisfied with the implementation of the current contract, which provides Euro-African Group Limited the exclusivity to import light fuel in brackets, petrol, gas oil, jet, and kerosene into the Gambia. The contract has been satisfactorily executed for the last 4 years. Since the letter is dated 2006, one assumes that the 4 years would be 2002 to 2006.
Yes.
Is that correct?
Yes.
And you came in 2003.
September 2003.
Okay. Did you ever see a written contract regarding this exclusivity?
No. I mean, the extension was simply in a letter form. So the first, call it contract for 5 years. I don't know whether it was in contract form or in a letter form, but the extension was in a letter form.
Yes. Yes, my question is really regarding your reference to a contract. You know, you're referring to a current contract. So I just want to confirm.
Well, contract is not used in the sense that there was a written contract. Okay. I mean, here is used as an operation, that the contract refers to the operation itself.
Okay, thank you. The next question I have, going further down in the same paragraph, you said Euro-Africa Group Limited is presently constructing a 40,000 metric ton storage depot at Mandinari with capacity for 5 months of consumption stock and at a cost of $18 million US. What was the basis for indicating that the depot was going to cost $18 million?
Madam, I'm not sure where I got my figures from.
Sorry? Can you speak
sure,
into the mic?
I'm not sure where I got my figures from.
Was a submission made by Euro-Africa Group in relation to the depot at Mandinari?
I cannot say so.
Mr. Gay, is it correct to assume that you, at the time, you had a document as a point of reference for the statement you were making?
Yes, there must have been a document, for reference.
Okay. All right, thank you. I have no further questions for Mr. Gay. Can you collect the exhibit, please?
Mrs. Andrews, you may proceed.
Thank you.
You can leave it there.
Mr. Gay, can you please confirm the years again you were minister?
Pardon?
The years you were minister of finance.
September 2003 up to 9 June 2009. But in between, in 2005, I was Minister for Foreign Affairs for 7 months and Minister of Trade, Industry for about 2 to 3 weeks.
Mr. Gay, you were minister, or you're aware of the fuel crisis in the Gambia in the 2000s?
Pardon?
You're aware of the fuel crisis in the Gambia in the 2000s?
In 2000?
In the years 2000, 2001, 2002, 2003?
Well, I was minister in September 2003.
Okay.
But the years before that, really, I was in the private sector. On private sector operations.
Okay.
But I was not aware of the rice crisis, as you mentioned.
Fuel crisis?
Pardon?
Fuel. The fuel crisis.
Oh, fuel crisis, yes.
Okay. Can you explain to the Commission how the government sought to counter this crisis? How the government sought to counter the crisis?
Well, we've already talked about the exclusivity arrangement that was given to the Euro-Africa group. Maybe in 2002, for the exclusive importation of fuel into the country.
Okay.
And I think that was what was responsible for resolving if any fuel crisis had occurred during that time. Because from the time I came in 2003 up to when I left in 2009, there were no shortages, no problems in the fuel importation subsector. So the way it was solved was through this exclusivity arrangement.
Mr. Gay, has been said at the Commission that the shares the public enterprises bought into at GAM Petroleum was not a good investment.
I didn't hear that.
It's been said at the Commission that the shares the public enterprises purchased in GAM Petroleum was not a good investment.
Was not?
A good investment for them. In your experience and qualifications, would you agree that a good investment is not necessarily just about profits? It can be for strategic purposes?
I think profit is fundamental to any investment. What I said the last time to the Commission, initially the investment may not be profitable, but given some time, it can be profitable. And for me, the decision to invest in the GAM Petroleum storage facility at Mandinari was also for national security considerations. And for me, that was very, very, very important. I have not discussed it with the President, but in my own assessment, that was very, very important. And I also added the point that from a Minister of Finance angle, having a stable throughput charge, which will not erratically impact on the petroleum pump price, was also desirable. I mean, those were the points I made the last time.
Okay. So you would agree then that at the time, your African group, being the sole importer of fuel into the Gambia, and having as its shareholders Mr. Amadou Samba and Mr. Mohamed Bazi, who were also the same shareholders at GAM Petroleum.
The sentence is rather long, and I'm getting lost in the sentence. Maybe Council can repeat the question.
I haven't finished the question.
Please, thank you.
It is correct, is it not, that the shareholder for Euro-African Group, Mr. Bazi and Mr. Samba, were the same shareholders for GAM Petroleum?
I mean, you're asking me that question?
Yes.
I mean, I don't know.
You don't know?
I mean, I have
Okay.
never seen the memorandum and articles of association of these companies.
I'll put it to you that the shareholders for GAM Petroleum were the same shareholders for Euro-African Group.
Okay.
That being the case, as a government, would it have been prudent for GAM Petroleum, the storage facility, to be solely owned by Mr. Bazi, or to be owned by Mr. Bazi and Mr. Samba? Would it have been prudent as a government?
I mean, I made the point earlier that the president might have taken the decision out of national security considerations. There was nothing wrong in Mr. Basi and Mr. Samba to own the storage facility. The one we had before was owned by Shell Company Limited, the one in Banjul. But fuel importation or the fuel requirements of this country had gone to a stage where the Banjul facility would not have been adequate anymore.
Not have they?
By the time I left, pardon?
So I didn't hear what you said. Who did not have?
No, what I'm saying is that earlier on, the storage facility we had for fuel was owned by Shell in Banjul. But the facility would not have been adequate because the fuel requirements of the country increased tremendously. By the time I left government in 2009, we were having 2 million liters of gas oil per month. That was the requirement, by June 2009. And Banjul would not have been able to, provide storage capacity for the fuel requirements of this country. So Mandinari came at a very appropriate time. And as I indicated, it could have been, the Banjul was owned by Shell, but you can argue that Shell is an international company, an international oil company. But Mandinari could have been owned by Mr. Basi and Mr. Samba, as you indicated. But the president, for other reasons, thought that it was important for government institutions to have shares in the GAM Petroleum fuel storage facility at Mandinari. And I go along with that. I go along with that.
That is all for the witness. Thank you, Mr. K. That is all. I have no further questions.
Just one or two questions. Mr. Gay, when GAM Petroleum or the promoters of GAM Petroleum floated the idea of building a storage facility at Mandinari, do you know whether anyone else, any other investor was invited to put forward a proposal to build a storage facility?
No. The storage facility at Mandinari was financed by Total Geneva. And really, I knew about the facility from Total Geneva when they paid a courtesy call, a high-level delegation came to this country and paid a courtesy call to me and discussed the financing of the Mandinari fuel storage facility. And they had gone to the World Bank and made their investigations about Gambia and the economic situation in the Gambia. And we discussed the Gambian economic situation at length. And they told me that they were interested in financing the Mandinari storage facility. That was when really I knew that this thing was going on.
All right. Were you aware at the time that Global Trading Group had agreed with NAWEC to rehabilitate or build storage tanks at Shell in Banjul for NAWEC in 2002? You were not aware?
No.
Okay. That's all for the witness.
Sorry, Mr. Chairman, can I just ask one question? May I proceed with one question on a follow-up?
One question.
Yes.
Sorry. I've always that I will not permit any ping pong game here. That's it. You may go.
As the chairman pleases.
Honorable Commissioners, I recall Mr. Amadou Samba.
Can I go?
Fatty.
Good afternoon, Mr. Samba. May I please remind you of your oath?
Ms. Andrews, you may commence.
Sorry, Mr. Chairman,
Sorry?
yes, I have some questions for Mr. Samba. Mr. Samba, I'm going to show you.
I'm sorry, Mrs. Bensouda. Can we announce our representations, please? May it please this Honorable Commission, M.A. Samba for Amadou Samba. My senior should have been announcing. It doesn't matter. I'm sorry, my senior, Mr. Tambedu, is here. He should have been doing the announcing, but he's with me appearing for Mr. Samba.
Let Mr. Tambedu announce himself.
Yes, he will do that.
Please, Mr. Chairman and members of the Commission, I appear for Mr. Samba, and appearing with me is Ms. M.A. Samba.
Okay.
Christmas.
So he's Sheriff Tambedu.
Nice. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Samba, I'm going to show you statements that were made by you. I think you'll confirm that, of course. There are quite a few of them. If you can confirm that these are your statements so that they can all be admitted. The first one I have here is 18th October 2017. And the last one is 4th July 2018. You can keep them.
They are my statements. They bear my signature.
Can you collect the statements, please? Can you collect the document?
Can we have a look at the statements given to Mr. Samba? have no objection, only to point out that there are certain attachments to the statements that might have been tendered already, and there are also statements that are in copies. I think councils were not able to find their own original copies that we submitted, so we gave them photocopies. Can you comment it? These might have been tendered. This one, these two, they might have already been tendered.
Those two might already have
Those
been
two.
tendered.
These two documents. Right?
Those two might have already tendered. We are not sure.
Mr. Chairman, may I apply to have admitted statements made by this witness from 23rd October 2017. 18, there was an 18, yes. 18 October 2017. They are numbered actually in pencil. Altogether, there are what is this? As counsel for the witness states, some of the pages are in photocopy. We did reach out to counsel when it appeared that some of the statements were not complete, and she provided copies. The statements were made to investigators, so the pages might be in some of the files. It is also correct that some of the statements refer to attachments. I believe all the attachments have been tendered. SC 87.
Chairperson, I just want to point out that the statements are referring to attachments. Some of them might have been tendered, but we were not really sure when we reconcile with council. So we will just bear that in mind, that in the event that the investigators have the attachments, that they bring it forward to the commission.
12 witness statements by witness number 82, Amadou Samba, Amadou A. Samba, to wit, A. Statement of 18th October 2017. Re 1. Eagle, that's Euro-African group. 2. GTB, that's Guaranteed Trust Bank. 3. Kairaba Beach Hotel. 4. Relationship with ex-President Jammeh. 5. What's the name of that man again? Michel Nehme. I hope I've got the correct pronunciation. 6. GAM Petroleum. 7. Loan to KFF, Kanilai Family Funds. 8. SSHFC Board Chairmanship. 9. Offshore companies. All that is A. B, dated 19th October 2017. Re 1. Listed properties of ex-President Jammeh. 2. On Mohamed Bazi. 3. Gamveg Oil Limited. 'C, dated 20th October 2017. Re Gamveg Oil Limited. D, dated 23rd October 2017. Re 1. LC, as letter of credit from TBL concerning purchase of 2 Leyland trucks. 2. GAM Petroleum share structure. E, dated 23rd October 2017. Re SSHFC Walkabout Board Resolution dated 2nd June 2010. F, dated 24th October 2017. Re payment of check number 03162-137 dated 5th July 2010. Let's pause here. I believe that we should have the name of the bank. It is not mentioned there. So if the witness knows the bank, we'll provide the particular statement here. Then we will enter the name of the bank. We have check number 03162-137 written. We even have the date, 5th of July, 2010. But we do not have the bank, the name of the bank. If it can be provided now, we'll be quite happy.
Bank is Trust Bank.
Trust Bank. Very well, we'll enter Trust Bank. G, dated 31st October 2017. Re, title deed of Amasa Fishing Company Limited. G1, dated 31st October 2017. Re, funds transfer in the statement of account of Gamvej Oil Limited. H, dated 14th November 2017. Re, Excel Construction Company Limited. I, dated 28th November 2017. Daily Observer Company Limited. J, dated 11th June 2018. Re, supply of generator set by GTG to NAWEC. GTG, I said, Global Trading Group. K, dated 4th July 2018. Re, additional information in respect of GAM Petroleum Limited. All admitted in a bundle. Marked MS 241. All these statements will be marked in accordance with the letters attached to them, A, B, C, etc.
Chairman and members of the Commission.
Yes.
Mr. Chairman, I'm taking my leave now. My learned friend, Ms. M.A. Samba, will continue with the proceedings. Thank you.
That's not a problem at all. Okay, so
Mr. Samba, I'm going to show you some documents. The first one is SC 87, Agreement for the Supply of Generator Sets by and between Global Trading Group and National Water and Electricity Company Limited, NAWEC. I have flagged the signature page. Can you show the witness this document? I'd just like you to confirm that Exhibit SC 87 is a document as stated for the purchase of for the supply of generating sets by Global Trading Group to NAWEC, and that you witness the agreement. I'm also going, just for convenience, I'm going to also show you another agreement for the sale and supply of heavy fuel oil to NAWEC between Global Trading Group and NAWEC. Again, I have flagged the signature page. It's dated 26 July 2002, and it's Exhibit SC 82B. The first one is dated 19 January 2001. That's the one for the supply of generating sets.
Yes, I signed as witness for both documents.
What was your connection to Global Trading Group? What was your connection to Global
I had
Trading Group?
absolutely no connection with Global Trading Group. I was not a shareholder of Global Trading Group. It just happens I was in the same company with Mohammed Bazi, who happens to be a shareholder.
Sorry, I can barely hear you. You're in the same company?
What I'm saying is, I have no vested interest in Global Trading Group. I was not a shareholder. It just happened that the reason why I signed as witness here was that at the material time, Mohammed Bazi was using part of my office space. So he just asked me to sign as witness. And
was using?
Part of my, my office. He was using part of my office space before he got.
Which office was
he
it?
finally got office in town. This is in Gamwater.
Which of the agreements? Are you saying they were both signed at Gamwater?
I'm not saying that they were signed at Gamwater. What I am saying is that at the material time, I had and as a friend, I don't think I should refuse to sign as witness, since I know very well that there is no implication. Absolutely not.
When did he leave your office?
I can't remember.
When did he
Actually,
leave?
he was there temporarily.
He was there?
Yeah, that is when he came to this country. He was there temporarily. He was using the space for, I think, I can't remember, honestly.
The first agreement, as I mentioned, was signed in 2001. This is 19 January 2001.
Yes.
And the second agreement was signed in 2002, July 2002, over a year.
Exactly.
After. And you witnessed both, and these were signed with NAWEC managing directors of NAWEC. One was signed by Mr. Bachibalde, and the second one was signed, the one in 2002, I believe, by what is the signature? Mr. Kaur, Mustafa Kaur. You're saying you went along as a friend?
As a friend, like I said earlier, I have no vested interest in global trading.
Okay. I'm going to also show you exhibits MS-239. And in MS-239 are minutes of a meeting that was held at the Ministry of Finance and was presided over by Mr. S.M. Bush, Permanent Secretary, Office of the President, as chairman. And present were the Permanent Secretary, Finance, Mr. Dudu Bamijan, Mr. Baba Job, Mr. Assistant Secretary, Office of the President, Abdul Koli, Department of State for Finance and Economic Affairs, Bakari F. Conte, Attorney General's Chambers, Bach Balde, Managing Director, NAWEC, Mustafa Kaur, Power Supplies Director, NAWEC, Mohamed Bazi, Global Trading Company, Amadou Samba, on behalf of Global Trading Group, and Sheriff Tambedu, Solicitor for Global Trading Group. Now, this was a meeting. I'm going to show you the minutes, but I'll tell you what is in the minutes briefly. This was a meeting at which these contracts for the supply by Global Trading Group of the T generators were discussed. And the agreement that I showed you, according to these minutes, pages page 4, last paragraph, it says the meeting, the last two paragraphs. The meetings agreed on these points. The points are stated and recommended that these be reflected in the minutes for further consideration, clarification, and approval by the Office of the President. With the appropriate amendments made, the agreement was signed by Mr. Bazi of Global Trading Group and witnessed by Mr. Amadou Samba. In view of what you have just said, I would like your explanation.
I think it's very simple. Mr. Bazi asked me to accompany him. In fact, in the first place, I think it is a misrepresentation to say that I was a representative of Global Trading Group. Like I said, I had no vested interest in Global Trading Group. Mr. Bazi asked me to accompany him. And if you look at the minutes, there is nowhere I contributed to the meeting. So I just accompanied Mr. Bazi.
Okay. Can you collect the documents?
It's a total misrepresentation. How can they say that I represent? I cannot represent Global Trading because I have no interest in Global Trading. So I cannot see myself representing Global Trading Group.
So you say it was a misrepresentation by the Ministry of Finance?
I think so, because they did not capture the reason why. They didn't capture the actual reason why I was in that meeting. I was not a representative of Global Trading Group. I just accompanied Mr. Bazi to this meeting. And if you look at the minutes of the meeting, there is nowhere I made any contribution. It's a total misrepresentation.
So how did you introduce yourself?
I did not even introduce myself.
What were you doing at the meeting, Mr. Samba?
I accompanied Mr. Bazi because he was a stranger in this country and he asked me to accompany him. That was it.
All right, we hear what you're saying. And in 2002, when you witnessed the HFO agreement, you were still just accompanying Mr. Bazi as his friend.
When I what?
in 2002, Mr. Bazi had been here for over 1 year. So why were you accompanying him?
I was still accompanying Mr. Bazi. He was a stranger in this country, like I said. The moment he found his way, I never saw him again. He was dealing with his own business. But initially, I think maybe because I'm a businessman, and a prominent businessman for that matter in this country, he used to go with me.
Mr. Samba, I'm going to show you exhibit MS-122. This is a folder provided by Euro-Africa Group. Mr. Fadi Mazegi. You know Mr. Fadi Mazegi?
I know him very well.
Okay. I'm going to show you the memorandum and articles of association of Global Electric Group. You are a shareholder in Global Electric Group with Mr. Bazi?
Myself?
Yes.
Maybe I should look at the document because...
Okay. I'm going to show you the memorandum and articles of association which shows a company certificate of, I'm going to show you certificate of incorporation of Global Electric Group Limited, number 1647/2005, incorporated on the 8th day of December 2005. According to this memorandum and articles of association, Mr. Muhammad Bazi owned 999 shares and you owned 1 share, according to the memorandum.
That's only not...
Can you show the witnesses this memorandum and articles? The certificate of incorporation signed by the Registrar of Companies is indicated. I have flagged it, and I have also flagged a transfer of shares dated 30th day of January 2010 between yourself, Amadou Samba, to and Premier Investment Group, where you transfer, saying that you transfer your shares in Global Trading Group to Premier Investment Group, SAL Offshore. I have flagged
my shares in Global Trading Group.
Global Electric Group.
Oh, okay.
The first flag shows the signature page on the memorandum
yes, that's 1%,
of association.
1%, which is
nominal. Is that your signature?
That was, yes, 1% nominal shares.
Is that your signature?
It is 1%.
And can you look at the second document in 2010, which indicates that the share was transferred to Premier?
Yeah, I transferred it back.
Yeah, that company is a company that belongs to Mr. Muhammad Bazi and Fadi Mazegi. Correct?
Exactly.
Okay. So you were a shareholder from For how many years? 4 years.
The thing is, I was a nominal shareholder. That is 1%. And from inception, if you talk to Fadi and Mohamed Bazi, they will tell you that from day one, I told them that I was not interested in the NAWEC business. I made that categorically clear to them. I even stated that in my statement. If you look at my statement regarding Euro-African Group, I mentioned that. From the beginning, I told them that I was not interested in the NAWEC business. Even to my surprise, it was later on that I discovered when people were giving evidence here, they started mentioning Euro-African Group. So I couldn't connect it because as far as I was concerned, from day one, I told them, count me out. Those were my exact words. I was not interested in the NAWEC business. And maybe that is even the reason to clear myself. That is the reason why I returned back this nominal share of 1%.
Mr. Samba, what was the business of Global Electric Group when it was incorporated?
I think they were generating electricity. They had this IPP, Independent Power Producer, agreement with NAWEC.
Okay. Were you a director on Global Electric Group company?
I was not. From the beginning, I made it abundantly clear to them that I was not interested in the NAWEC business. In fact, the reason why, even with Euro-African, I told them that my shareholding in Euro-African is just for the light fuel. But as far as NAWEC is concerned, count me out. It was later on when I was in 2010 that he started telling me that we are now entangled because of NAWEC. They are not paying us. And that is even what prompted me to withdraw my guarantees, because I later on discovered that my guarantees were being used for heavy fuel. And it is also the reason why I asked Mr. Bazi to give me an indemnity, because I have a family. I told him that I was never interested in the NAWEC business and I need to be covered. And that is when he said that he cannot buy me out, and that is when in 2011 I asked him to give me an indemnity, and I think I have submitted that indemnity here.
Mr. Samba, you have the testimony, I'm sure, of Mr. Alaji Conte?
Yes.
Before this commission?
I did.
No. According to Mr. Conte, you, Mr. Baba Job, and Mr. Mohamed Bazi went to meet him in his office in connection with the contract for the 3 which is exhibit SC82B, which I have just shown you. Since you have had his evidence, do you have any reaction?
Of course. I know where Mr. Conte was coming from.
Please,
let me give a background.
Samba.
I want to give a background.
Mr. Samba,
yes, please.
What is Mr. Alaji Conte said here? Did you go to his office together with Mr. Baba Job and Mr. Mohamed Bazi?
It's long time ago, but it's possible that I went there with Mr. Mohamed Bazi and Baba Job.
Okay. Carry on with your explanation. Proceed with your explanation.
Yeah, what I'm trying to say is, you know, I think some of these witnesses are already prejudiced, especially Mr. Alaji Conte. We all know that he is in the electricity business. And most of the evidence he was giving was corrupted or biased, because he has, even now, he has...
Which part of the evidence?
Even now, he has a vested interest in the electricity business.
Let's, for the moment, I would like you to react to the evidence given by Mr. Alaji Conte as to events as they happen according to him in 2001. This is
what I'm saying.
Yes.
I mean, he mentioned, I told Mohamed Bazi that because he is Mandingo, he's not going to approve it. That's not me, Amadou Samba. I'm not a tribalist in the first place. I have Mandinka friends. Baba Job was my close friend. I said that in this commission. So it's even inconsistent for him to say that I was telling Baba Job, who is a Mandinka and my friend, that he is a Mandinka, and because of that, he's not going to approve.
Why did you accompany Mr.
Because
Baba Job and
even
Mr. Muhammad Bazi?
if he told Mohamed Bazi, I'm sure if I had said that to Mohamed Bazi or whatever, Mohamed Bazi would have told Baba Job, and that would have jeopardized my friendship with Baba Job. So, I mean, it's not coming from me. You know, I think one thing I have to say here today, some people are using the commission to castigate people, to put down people. They think that when they come here, like for him, when he says that Amadou Samba was saying that because you are Mandinka, because I'm Mandinka, I'm not going to approve it. He is trying to create enemies for me. And I'm a Gambian. I don't see myself as a Mandinka or Wolof. I see myself as a Gambian. So, for you to come out here and start making such statements is wicked.
Mr. Samba, why did you accompany Mr. Baba Job and Mr. Mohamed Bazi to the office? Let me finish my question, if I may. To the office of Alaji Conte, who was managing director NAWEC.
Like I said earlier, that was the period when Mohamed Bazi came into this country new. So, like, I mean, maybe he wanted me to go with him because, I mean, he didn't know the country, he didn't know the people, so he asked me to accompany him. But that was it, period. I'm not denying the fact that I went with him, but I didn't go there for any interest, absolutely.
Mr. Baba Job was a Gambian and at the time was well connected. Wasn't it enough that he was accompanied by Mr. Baba Job? Why would you accompany him in addition?
Maybe Mohamed Bazi didn't trust Baba Job enough. That could be his reason, but he asked me to go with him.
By the contract that, by the second contract, Exhibit SC 87, NAWEC granted Global Trading Group an exclusive right to supply NAWEC with fuel. This was, according to the evidence here, on the directives of the ex-president. Did you arrange the exclusivity?
Not at all. One thing I want to say in this commission, I have never ever met with Mohamed Bazi at the president's office. There has never been an occasion where myself, Mohamed Bazi, and the president are together. Mohamed Bazi had, after a few years, I don't even know when he goes to the house.
Mr. Samba?
Yes?
Let's again go back to 2002. In 2002, Mr. Mohamed Bazi's group of companies, one of which became Euro-Africa Group, in which you own 45% shares, was granted the exclusive right to import petroleum products into the Gambia. This was extended in 2007 to expire in 2011, and in 2011 it was again extended to 2013. What role did you play in securing this exclusivity, if any?
No role. If you talk to the ministers of finance then, like Balagay or any of them, they will tell you that they've never seen me in their offices. They've never seen me in their offices lobbying. That's not me.
The exclusivity was directed according to the evidence that we have by the Office of the President. It was not the Ministry of Finance that granted the exclusivity.
Okay, even if it was directed by the Office of the President, it is not from me, of my influence. I said this earlier on, that whenever the President is involved in this type of activities, I'm not part of it.
Mr. Samba, in 2004, Euro Africa Group Limited was incorporated, and it took over the exclusivity contract, which was existing according to the evidence of Mr. Balagay from 2002, that is before he took over office as Minister of Finance. As I said, in 2004, he became 45% owner of Euro Africa Group, and it already had an arrangement whereby it was the exclusive supplier of petroleum products.
Yeah, but before, what I don't understand is, from 2002 up to 2005 or whatever,
question is for you to answer. All
yeah,
I can
this is
say
what
to
I'm
you,
saying. So,
all I can say to you is this: from
Yes.
the evidence before this commission,
yeah,
Euro Africa Group came into existence in 2004
exactly,
or thereabouts.
exactly.
At the time it came into existence, an exclusivity contract had already been awarded and was in place. Supplies were being made by Mohamed Bazi and, for the want of a better word, associates. That is those are the facts before
That is
this
true. That is
commission.
true.
Now, if you had nothing to do with that arrangement, how come you inherited 45% of this arrangement?
Like I said, when this company started, it was me and Mohamed Bazi. In fact, I contributed towards the share capital. And Mohamed Bazi, you know, he was like a strategic partner. I didn't know much about fuel. I didn't know much about. So he was the one managing the affairs of the company. I gave my guarantees, and I think I withdrew those guarantees in 2009 or something when I saw that the company things were not clear to me and it was not profitable. So I decided to withdraw my guarantees, and eventually I resigned as a director. So,
Mr. Samba,
yes,
just to remind you of the record. Okay. The record shows that you remain up to now 45% owner of Euro Africa Group Limited.
Of course.
And Euro Africa Group Limited was the sole supplier of petroleum products.
Yes.
From the time it
That
was
is correct.
incorporated until 2013.
That
and
is
it
correct.
continued to supply petroleum products.
That is correct.
Until the last 2017. So
That is correct.
So if you have an explanation.
Euro Africa
That's
Group is a business. It's a business like any other business. And I'm a Gambian. I mean, we had all these foreign companies here like Shell. They are all foreigners. So I was really interested in participating as a Gambian in the industry. And that is the reason, that is what prompted my investment in the Euro Africa Group. And the fact that Euro African Group had monopoly, who am I to say no if I'm giving money as a businessman? Like any other businessman, if you are offered this kind of thing, you can never refuse it.
You seem to be distancing yourself from the exclusivity.
From?
You seem, that's fine anyway.
No, please, I would like to answer that question. If
No,
there is.
you seemed, when you started answering your question, you seemed to be distancing yourself from the exclusive arrangements that was in place.
Yeah,
Yes.
I'm not distancing myself. I'm just saying that I was not in any way involved in the arrangement. I can swear to the Holy Quran that I was not involved in the arrangement. But as a shareholder, of course I'm a shareholder. I own 45% shares.
You said if you are offered a monopoly, who wouldn't accept it? So how was it offered? How did it come into existence?
What I'm saying, as any other business, you were talking about exclusivity. As a businessman, if, like for instance, I go to somebody and he said, okay, I don't want anybody else, I want you to supply me, I will be thanking my stars.
Understandably, but my question is how did the arrangement come into existence?
I have answered that question. I was not involved in the arrangement.
Okay. All right. I am moving on to another subject matter, unless you have questions. Oh, it's almost 5. Okay.
Sorry. It's too late because we have to rise at 5 o'clock.
Indeed.
Sorry? You can't hear me. I say we can't stay until after 5 o'clock.
Okay.
So time is very short. Therefore, we have to adjourn. Can you hear me now?
Mary, Chairman is talking.
I'm sorry.
Sorry? Who says I'm sorry? Sorry?
Can you park this one?
You,
Please, this is the exhibit.
Very well, we'll rise now. We'll be back tomorrow at 10 o'clock.
Extra Bonanza.
20 major winners every 20th from February to July.
Comium 2020. Recharge $100 credit or more to be one of the 20 lucky winners.
Every month, 20 winners.
15 winners will get rice, sugar, and cooking oil. There will also be a winner for a refrigerator, win flat screen TV, win a generator, win a motorbike, or an iPhone 6.
Comium Extra Bonanza. Draw starts 20th of every month. Live on GRTS and Paradise FM. Comium 2020.
Terms and conditions apply.
Comium. We are better together. Comium Extra Bonanza.
Extra Bonanza.
20 major winners every 20th from February to July.
Comium 2020. Recharge $100 credit or more to be one of the 20 lucky winners.
Every month.